we're going to add the function add liquidity. The function add liquidity will take in 4 arguments. The first argument is the token A that we want to add liquidity for, and the second argument is the token B that we want to add liquidity for. The third and the fourth are the values, so the amount of A and the amount of B. First step is of course to transfer the 2 tokens inside this contract. So from the message sender to this contract will be transferred the 2 amounts of tokens, because we need the tokens inside our contract in order to add liquidity. After that, we approve the Pancake router to spend the 2 tokens. So we approve it once for the token A and we approve it twice for token B. Then we call the add liquidity function from the Pancake router and we give it the arguments. So the token A, the token B, the amounts. These 2 zeros represent the amount A minimum and the amount B minimum. This is the address where the LP tokens will be sent after adding liquidity, and then this will be the deadline. If we look up in the add liquidity function from the Pancake router interface, we see that the function returns some values, and in Solidity you can return many values. So here this function returns amount A, it returns an amount B, and returns the liquidity, and all of them are uints. So then if you call this function, how do you get the return values from it? Because you're not getting one single return value, you're getting multiple return values. So in Solidity you can do something called deconstructing, which is also available in JavaScript for our example with the add liquidity function, because this function returns 3 values and you can't just say something like this. You need to get all the 3 values. So you open a parenthesis and we specify the 3 return values from the function A, then amount B, and another uint called liquidity. These names don't have to be the same as the return values here. You can put any name here you want, but for the sake of the readability we're just going to let it like this. After adding liquidity, the LP tokens will be minted to our wallet by the Pancakeswap smart contract, and next what we want to do is get the address of the pair that we added liquidity for, and we do this by calling the getPair function, on the Pancake factory interface with the factory address. Here I declared the factory constant. This address is the address of the Pancake factory smart contract. And then here I have the interface with one single function. After that we are going to console log the address of the pair using the head console, so we can get the address of the pair and import it in our wallet to see the LP tokens. And at the end we simply emit an event called added liquidity with the following arguments. You can see the event here. Next function is called add liquidity ETH, and what this function is doing, it allows us to add liquidity for an ERC20 token and a native token. So for the Binance Smart Chain, this will be wrapped BNB and any other ERC20 token. This function is of course external and it's payable because the function needs to be able to receive wrapped BNB. First step is to transfer the tokens inside the contract and then approve the Pancake router to spend the tokens. Then we call the add liquidity ETH function from the Pancake router and we open some curly braces to also specify the amount of BNB that we are sending to that function. And then in the parentheses we add the arguments. So will be the token, the amount of token desired, the minimum amounts. Here I said 1, but this could be 0 or whatever. This is the address where the LP tokens will go and the deadline. Then we do the same thing, we get the address of the pair. You can see that here on getPair we say Pancake router.with. This will give us the address of wrapped BNB. We console log the address of the pair and we emit an event. Next function is called remove liquidity, and this function takes in token A and token B and amount. This will say how many LP tokens I want to remove from the liquidity. In this function, the first thing that we need to do is get the address of the pair, because we need to find the liquidity pool that we want to remove liquidity from. And we do this by using the getPair function and specifying the two tokens from the arguments. Next, we transfer the ERC20 pair. This represents the LP tokens because LP token is also an ERC20 and the address of it is the address of the pair. And what we do is, if you know already how adding liquidity in DeFi works, then that's okay. If not, then I'm just gonna explain it right quick to you. So in order to remove liquidity from a liquidity pool, you have the LP tokens in your wallet, which will represent a share of that liquidity pool. Now, in order to remove your liquidity, you need to prove that you are the user that owns that liquidity, and you can prove that because you have the LP tokens. So then when you call the remove liquidity function, you will transfer the ERC20 pair, which are the LP tokens, from your wallet, so from the message sender, to this contract, in our case, right, in this contract, with the amount. So after this line of code, this contract, my exchange, will contain the LP tokens of the user. Then what we do is we approve the Pancake router to take in our LP tokens and spend them. So we call the remove liquidity function from the Pancake router, which will spend the LP tokens. That means that it will convert the LP tokens back into your liquidity that you added, right? So it will give you back the tokenA and the tokenB amounts for the liquidity pool tokens. And at the end, we simply emit a removed liquidity event. Next function, it's called remove liquidity BNB. So you see that the function takes in a token and the amount of LP tokens that you want to remove. So here we start by getting the address of wrapped BNB. Then we find the address of the pair. We transfer and approve the LP tokens. We call the remove liquidity ETH function from the Pancake router. We give you the token, the amount of LP tokens that we are removing, the minimum amounts, which are not that important right now, and the address where the liquidity will go back for the LP tokens and the deadline. And at the end, we emit a remove liquidity BNB event. Let's also add this function, get amount of token B for token A, which is a function that will give us the price of token A in token B. This will be useful when we want to add liquidity, because we specify an amount of token A to add as liquidity, and then by using this function it will calculate for us how much of token B we need to add, so to make that 50-50 share. So as you can see, inside this function we create a path. The path contains the two token array, the two token addresses, and then we use the Pancake router get amounts out function, which gives us the actual price, and we return the second element in the amounts array, which is the price of token A in token B.